Anyway, let's get this one started. So I'm gonna open up my review screen. Jessie versus Fairy Peak ranked 2v2 review. I think this should be quite interesting. Ignore this sub count, that's Jessie's. But the other thing to mention, yes, this is from Jessie's stream. This is a video that I've downloaded as we get some smoother quality. I've just downloaded a stream, but if you want to check out his stream, you can find that at twitch.tv/Jessie. He streams very regularly. Probably not this weekend because he's going to be away at DreamHack. Looks like he's just warming up in slow. Yeah, he's warming up with slow-mo. This is something that a lot of players do to try and get rid of that feeling that their car is moving slowly. You just go into slow-mo mode, mutator, and then your car literally moves slowly. Then when you go back into a normal game, it feels like your car's moving much faster. So let me know if this looks smooth, guys, or if I need to minimize it a little bit to make the frame rate a little bit better. Let me know what you think. It's looking a little bit jumpy there. I might, if it's gonna be jumpy, I'll just, yeah, I'm gonna probably do this actually. Yeah, we'll do it like this. Hold on. Yeah, that should be fine. So we're just gonna like put it here. But yeah, Jessie getting the first goal here. He said, I remember he said in comments, Burrito nearly saved that. Burrito nearly saving that shot. I'm gonna leave it like this. This looks smoother for me. But yeah, Jessie getting one goal here. The sort of context to these games and why I wanted to review them with you is going into this, Jessie is currently ranked 3 in the 2v2 leaderboard. Fairy Peak, who's just his opponent in this game, is rank 1. And Fairy Peak's alternate account, Wiam, is rank, or Yiam, I don't know how he pronounces it. Probably something to do with Weebs. Is rank 2. So Fairy Peak is rank 1 and 2. Jessie is rank number 3. And Fairy Peak is deliberately queued into Jessie here. He's kind of like presented himself as the final boss to see if Jessie can get that rank 1, or if Fairy Peak's going to be able to not just keep a hold of his rank 1, but also in doing so climb above 2,000 rating. And you'll be able to see their rating pop up there in the top right. I'm not sure if the quality will be high enough for you guys who are watching on mobile, but anyone who's watching on a bigger screen, you'll probably be able to see 1995 is Fairy Peak's rating. Jessie's sitting at 1980, I believe. Maybe, well, I'll try and catch it. 1979. So yeah, pretty close. Pretty close in rating, but Jessie's still the underdog here. And there's a tie game from a bit of an overextension. Jessie and Burrito both taking themselves out of the game at the same time, but you have to be so careful against pre-made teams. And Fairy Peak and Mout here are queuing up together. Both French players. They're players who are fairly familiar with each other. Not as familiar as, say, K-Dop and Fairy Peak, but definitely formidable opponent is Mout. And he's a good friend of Jessie as well, so there's probably going to be a little bit of a friendly rivalry there between Jessie. He's not going to want to lose to Fairy Peak, of course, because Fairy Peak's the final boss, but he'll also not want to lose to Mout because they are good friends. They're Jessie going for a tight angle air roll shot, unlikely to work against a player like Fairy Peak. And I remember he did call out in his or tell his stream that Fairy Peak and Mout were doing a really good job pre-jumping for a lot of things. And there you go again. Fairy Peak he's there so fast, able to read what Jessie's trying to do and intercept it before Jessie can even get started. And it's certainly something you want to do, especially in 3v3, but also 2v2, is intercept things as early as possible. Even 1v1, although it's a bit more risky in ones because if you miss, you're really, really screwed. But yeah, definitely 2v2, and to an even greater degree 3v3, intercept as early as possible. That's an excellent fadeaway by Jessie there. Fakes a challenge and manages to trick Fairy into centering it. And look at this. This is why one of the reasons I wanted to watch this VOD with you guys is Jessie's off-the-ball bump plays are probably, I'd say, the most effective in the world right now, at least in a 2v2 setting. In a 3v3 setting, I've not seen Jessie play as much, but certainly in a 2v2 setting, his off-the-ball bump plays are, you definitely want to watch them and take note what he's doing and how he's making them work. That's a little bit unfortunate for Jessie. Trying to get a read here, but the ball does hit the curve. That's a great center ball by Mout to carve it down like that. Other things to take note of: Jessie definitely playing a little bit panicky here, and if I did put the audio, you'll hear him. He is, saying that he's trying to keep himself hyped up, trying to keep himself positive. He's a very entertaining streamer. I'll tell you that much. Like I would fully recommend and commend that you watch his stream because it's very high level play. Always these days playing at the very upper echelons of ranked 2v2. That's another great finish by Fairy Peak, slowing down the ball when he saw Jessie's pre-jump. And it's probably about now that Jessie's saying these guys are pre-jumping really well. Maybe I need to do one of those slower shots. I remember he did in fact say that, and it does catch out pre-jumpers quite well if you just throw a curveball. Let the ball go a bit lower than they're maybe expecting. And yeah, in case you hadn't noticed already, Fairy Peak is in the mark, and is I think driving the Roadhog XL, maybe just the Roadhog. I didn't get a close look at it just yet. But yeah, very confident stuff. Fairy Peak final boss in the mark. That's some good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty hyped about watching Jessie's games at DreamHack this weekend because he is of course going to be replacing Mystic from Flipside, who is Miz sick this weekend unfortunately. But very fortunate for Jessie. He's got a great opportunity to show his stuff, not just in 2v2 ranked, but also in a 3v3 tournament. One of the most stacked tournaments to date in Rocket League. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he does there. Anyway, here we go. 3-1. Great goal. Solo goal from Burrito B, Jessie's countryman, I believe. Good control. So he manages to control the ball and land on the wall simultaneously. And then the good old side flip shot, I think mostly popularized by Cuxer in 1v1. Last second, hiding behind the ball, then accelerating it with a side flip. And even Fairy Peak was caught off guard by that. And we know it must have been a good shot if Fairy Peak is not able to defend it. Half flip challenge from Jessie is good. He gets bumped off the ball though, and you see, I don't have the audio on, but he's a little bit frustrated by that one. That's one of the reasons I like watching Jessie stream. Is he's very, he doesn't hide his reactions. He's very showing off, or just revealing to people exactly how he feels about something. But 24 seconds left. These guys have to take any chance that they're going to get. There you go. How safe did Jessie play this shot? How safe did he play this shot? No power on this one. Fairy Peak beamed it really hard, and that's a phenomenal bump by Burrito. His mount would have no doubt had that clear. A Burrito with a good bump to take him away from the game. The DreamHack F3 team is Cuxer, Yukio, and Jessie. And that really could have been the game, actually, this shot there. Or that shot that just happened for Jessie could have really been the game, and we don't even really know what happened from Jessie's first-person POV. He's still going to be kicking himself about the end, though. Oh, yeah, I remember. Look at this delayed hit from Fairy. That's ridiculous. If he meant that, then mad props. If he didn't, if it was an accident, then rip Jessie's rank. He hesitated a little bit on the cheat, though, and you can kind of forgive him for that. He's getting so close. This is mega points on the line. If he beat Fairy Peak here, well, Fairy Peak is in a party queue, and Burrito, or Jessie rather, solo queuing, that's probably going to be a plus 12, plus 13, at least plus 11 points, no doubt. So, well, maybe I'd say probably plus 12 is what I would guess. But yeah, he wasn't able to get it done in game 1. And that does mean that Fairy Peak, as you can see there, getting over 2,000 rating. Jessie dropping to 1973. I think still third place in the leaderboard. There you go. He does take a look at that. There's Yum. I don't know how you say this, but that's Fairy Peak's second account, sitting just below 2,000 rating. And at this point, as the story does not end here. The story goes on. At this point, Fairy Peak logs on his second account and snipes Jessie again because you see Jessie is still queuing. This VOD is ongoing. The queue takes a while, and he's back in slow mo to warm up for the game. But now Jessie getting sniped by Fairy's Smurf. And this time he has Bang in his team, which for those of you who are not initiated, that is Maestro, going with his real life surname into game. So Jessie starts off the game with a Bang of his own. And it's going to be more of that to come. That's really one of the reasons, or one of the things you could really take away from Jessie's gameplay. He's so good at realizing when he can make an off-the-ball play, whether it be a bump, a demo, a block, or just a mind game. He's very, very fast and very accurate with his aerial bumps and aerial demos in particular. It's something you have to be extremely careful with, though, if you want to implement it into your own play. Don't do it too much, and certainly don't do it when your teammate rather can't see you. If your teammate can't see what you're doing, if you're in his blind spot, if he's coming in from the from the side of the pitch, if he's coming in from a tight angle, I don't know how Maestro missed this shot, by the way. That should have been a goal. He somehow lost all the power on that one. But yeah, like I was saying, if your teammate is maybe in the corner, the opposition corner, and then he's dribbling or trying to make a tight angle dribble, going for a bump in that situation would probably be a bad idea because you're going to come in from his blind spot, and even if you do get a goalkeeper, your teammate might actually not get the ball past the other guy, and then you've taken yourself out of the game. If you're going for a bump in that situation, you're going to land the opposition goal. Not a good idea. So at least try to make it safe. Try to make bump plays when your teammate can see you, and we'll be able to see a bit of that later on. Jessie, in fact, does make a couple of very smart bump plays in full vision of his teammate, so he doesn't need to rely on them reading what he's doing. They can see what he's doing, so it's much better. And there you go, on the wall, and able to bump Fairy Peak out of the game. The shot was not quite all it could have been. Jessie not side flipping there. He did diagonal front flip, and Fairy, he really caught Maestro off guard here. Look at the replay. Didn't look like much, but he pops it off the wall, and instead of waiting for the bounce, he side flips last second. It looked like a bit of a diagonal front flip, but that was just the impact of the ball pushing the front end of the mark down. It was in fact a side flip, so Jessie kind of getting shown how to do it there by Fairy Peak. Side flip on the volley, go right through the ball with the full weight of the car, and managed to catch it really clean. That's another great passing play as the French duo take the lead. Pretty tough to stop that one. Jessie's challenge a little bit suspect, I would say. Backflip challenges with no momentum can be a little bit unreliable. That's a bit of an awkward situation for Jessie. He's done quite well to keep the ball in a relatively safe place. And look at that, just stepping out of Maestro's way and then making sure the Maestro can see him as he comes in for that. And there's the side flip that he was missing last time. This time connects with it and gets adequate height on the shot. Again, great positioning by Jessie in Maestro's field of view, and Maestro hit the pass. So both teams passing pretty well in this second game. But yeah, Fairy Peak is Fairy Peak, for anybody who's probably not aware, in my opinion, not aware of what my opinion is in the matter. I think he's probably the best player in the world right now. I don't know what you guys think about that. Love to hear your feedback on that, though. Though no doubt everybody's going to say Squishy's the best player in YouTube comments, as per. Or Jazer, the old classic. But I think Fairy Peak might be the best player in the world right now. He is, not just a phenomenal 2v2 ranked player. I'm not just saying he's the best player in the world because he has 2 accounts in the top 2. He also, crushes 3v3 tournaments. He's been playing not many 3v3 tournaments with his real team at the moment. Of course, he's still teaming with, I think, Pashy and Freaky. Although hopefully they're able to get a relarg this season. That's a phenomenal air roll shot on the turn by Jessie. Let me hold that thought about Fairy Peak to compliment Jessie on this piece of control. All of those touches on the volley, again, just catching Mout off guard by playing a little bit faster than Mout was expecting. As Mout may be expecting Jessie to cut that ball on the bounce. Jessie cuts it right before the bounce, but because he managed to steer into it so harshly, it didn't lose any of its power. It managed to pop up nicely for him. And the reason he's air rolling away from the ball before dodging into it, like you saw him do, is just to get a little bit more power on that shot, because his car is going to dodge again through the ball. The center of his car's mass is just directly in line with the shot that he's making. But this is just very tense. That's not the best shot by Mout, and Jessie with the post pinch save. No boost to his name. I think this is probably now a good time that I can go back to my Fairy Peak discussion. I do honestly think he's the best player. Just overall, phenomenal ones player. I think he's ranked 2 in 1v1. And can beat anybody in a series on his day. Still, I don't think Scrubkill has beaten Fairy Peak in a series in 1v1. I think. Of course, Fairy Peak's lost some series. He's lost a 1v1 series to Jessie, actually, and Ocelon in the past, although not the recent one that they played. And he's lost to Floris in a best of 3 before. But yeah, does really well against K-Dot, does really well against Scrub. Has yet to have that, long-awaited rematch with Cuxer. I really want to see that one myself, to see if he could do better than losing 4-0 in a best of 7. But probably the most impressive thing about Fairy Peak is his recent tournament 3v3 play with K-Dot and Farah. The French team, Farah, K-Dot, Fairy Peak, all play for different teams, PSG, Gale Force, and now I think Teamless, or Orgless, Organizationless, respectively. But their synergy is honestly phenomenal. They're all honestly one of the best 3v3 teams in the world. They're not even like a quote-unquote real team. But I put a large part of that down to Fairy Peak just being an excellent player, and secondly, the Fairy Peak Kid Up synergy. You can't really beat it. It's just so good. But yeah, enough of that. Let's really focus on what's going on at the end of this match. So Jessie posturing quite aggressively. One of the things that he's been doing very well throughout this game and the last is staying close enough to Maestro that if Maestro does make a play on the ball, or does make a play like a challenge on Fairy Peak or Mount, then, and it doesn't go well, Jessie's ready to step forward and, you know, fill in the blanks, basically fill in the gap between Maestro and his goal. You don't want to leave your teammate isolated way up front. Jessie does really well. He'll even leave boost behind just to stay with his teammate, not isolate them, even if it means, you know, foregoing 100 boost just to go forward with 24 or even go forward with 12. He'll do that. But yeah, right before we get into this third game, that did actually put Jessie into rank 2. We didn't see the leaderboard update, but yeah, that's rank 2 right there. So managed to overtake Fairy Peak Smurf by 2 points, according to Alpha Console. This isn't like 100% accurate, but yeah. Oh, hi Jessie, how you doing? I think with a 2-point advantage there, I would believe it. That's rank 2 in my book. But of course Jessie's not interested in that. He's just going for the rank 1, wants to catch Fairy again, and we got a rematch on Wasteland. Complete rematch with the Maestro and Jessie's team again. But yeah, pay attention to Jessie's positioning when Maestro's in front of him. He does, of course, go for boost when Maestro is not going to be making a challenge or something, or, you know, if Maestro's just slow playing it, Jessie can run and get boost. But if he's not, if Maestro's about to make a challenge, Jessie's always ready to follow up, close that distance, make sure that nobody's able to, like, challenge Maestro, take the ball off him, and then control it, and make a proactive play on Jessie. He's always looking for that sweet spot, that zone close to his teammate. So we got one bump off the ball by Jessie onto Mount. Successful demo. No jump. It's crucial to remember that. No jump necessary. You've got to keep a mental note in your head when you're going for these bump plays. Did I jump last time? Did my opponent jump last time? Am I going to jump this time to try and read his jump? They might get in the revenge. Cole873, thanks for the prime sub. I appreciate that. I'll once again just say for the rest of this match, if anybody does do a spam thing, I'll skip it. So hold off on that if you have just tuned in. This is an isolated challenge right here. I'll back this one up just because I was talking about this earlier. Okay, so Maestro actually here making, in my opinion, a huge misplay. This is a very, 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 very big misplay. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, Maestro's kind of left Jessie out to dry here. So why do I think this is a misplay? If we back it up again, just so we can see the whole play. So Jessie gets taken out of the game. And Maestro will see this, 100%. And this happens a lot in 2v2. Your teammate will get taken out of the game with a demo. So what do we know if we're Maestro here? We know that Jessie's going to spawn at the back of the field with 34 boost. So what do we need to do? We need to try to do two things. One of them, stall the other team, prevent them from scoring until your teammate can respawn and get back into position. Number two, don't isolate him. And this is exactly, unfortunately for Jessie, what Maestro does. Maestro just isolates Jessie at the back. Now Jessie's in a really tough spot. Has to make he has to make one of two decisions: either challenge the ball or fake a challenge and then go back to net, try and make a save. Jessie opts for the challenge. It doesn't work out, and that's just a goal after a couple of more touches. And is Fairy Peak putting it in on his Smurf. But yeah, it was a bit of I would put the blame on Maestro for that one. A bit of an isolated challenge. He took himself way away from his teammate. And even if he did win, like, think about that 50-50 from Maestro's POV. Even if he does win the 50-50, so what? Like, you know, what big deal? Nobody's going to be middle to meet the ball anyway. So it probably won't matter. Yeah, Jessie trying to calm himself down again. Needs to, because looking a little bit nervous. Good read by Jessie there. He didn't throw himself at the ball because he saw Maestro already had the save. And another, I think, missed opportunity. Second time in 2 games that we've seen Jessie do this. Where he's kind of he's flopped on the mechanics a little bit here. This is something that Fairy Peak does really well. So notice that the roll that Jessie's card did here is, in my opinion, inferior to a side flip. There's no way that I don't think I can slow this down. But if Jessie side flips here, then this ball is going to arc much higher, much faster, and probably put a lot more trouble, or present a lot more trouble for the opposition than a diagonal roll. By diagonally rolling, the corner of his car that is making contact with the ball is dipping underneath the ball as it is happening. So it's kind of like rolling the ball off the top of it instead of forcing through. A side flip would have forced right through the ball here and transferred a lot more of his car's momentum into the ball, thus giving a much faster shot. Probably top corner, because Jessie, he lined it up really well. It was just the flip that was wrong. He needed to side flip there. It's not really that intuitive as well. You think that you're going to be putting more force into the ball by front flipping, by getting, through it like forward. But the truth is, if you're cutting into the ball, you transfer more momentum with a side flip. You can try it in your own games. Definitely a skill that I would recommend you do. Look at that fake though from Maestro. And straight away, Jessie goes for the jump bump onto the keeper. Really, really good play by both Maestro and Jessie here. And I like that fake by Maestro. Frankibus, thanks for the year of subbing, by the way. Welcome back for the 12th month of Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. But the reason why this fake from Maestro is so good is because it's not really that high risk. We look at what he does. Last second before he lets the ball go, or last second before Mike makes a challenge, Maestro backs off. He slows down. And there's two reasons why he's doing this. One of them is to stay concealed behind the ball. But number two, if Mike flips into the ball here, it's probably just going to bounce off Maestro's car and continue down the line anyway. So very low risk, 50-50. However, if Maestro had aligned his car sort of like it is right now, if Mike made a challenge on the ball with Maestro's car being aligned like this, and made contact, the ball would bounce off Maestro's car and then go into Jessie and Maestro's half, which would be very dangerous. So that's why it's really smart, that little use of the L trigger to hit the brakes. Very, very clever by Maestro. Because now even if Mike does flip into the ball, there's a great chance he'll still win the 50-50 here. Better still, Mike whips it, and then Jessie makes a great overlap, bumps Fairy off the line, and there we see the classic there. Wait, didn't get to see it. Oh, wait. Carrying from the bottom. You don't get any points for bumps, guys, but who really scored that goal? Who really scored that? Jessie scored that goal. He took the goalie out of the game. Maestro, all Maestro does roll into an open net. Although, to be fair, Maestro did a great fake in the midfield, so both players doing their part in that play. Very, very bad kickoff by Maestro here. He's kind of dropped the ball again, unfortunately. Just look at the moment of impact. Whose car is going through the ball? Whose car is going under the ball? Marco P, I guess. But yeah, Maestro landing a little bit late there. Just landing a little bit too late. Notice you want to land and then be able to jump up again and then dodge through the ball at its center of mass. It's very important. Again, Jessie looking for those bumps on the wall. Anytime that he's making a drive by the opposition goal, always looking for those bumps. Very efficient. And Maestro is another player who's quite good at those bumps. And honestly, Jessie could have scored that. I think he probably should have done better than he did right there. They've had their chances. Both of the goals that Jessie and Maestro have conceded have been very preventable. I mean, every goal in this game has been very preventable, but this probably the messiest of them all. With it all went wrong. Jessie missing a shot. Both players going for the same boost. Jessie should absolutely leave this boost for Maestro, and this is something I want to pause, not to bash on Jessie, but just to say, if you are gonna give boost to someone in a 2v2 situation, give it to the player who's about to make a play on the ball. Jessie's not intended to make a play on the ball here. He should leave the boost for Maestro, or at least not dodge and wait and see if Maestro's going to take it. Like right here, Maestro might need this boost. Probably not. He probably just took the midfield one, but he might need that. He might want it. So what Jessie should do is try and dodge and then land before the boost. Yeah, he had full boost from the midfield, but what if he just used it all? You know what I mean? I think Jessie, with the point of, yeah, I know he does do, but the reason I'm saying this is just as a general, that's why I said I'm not saying this to bash Jessie. I'm not saying he really made, I don't think he really messed up here that much. It's more of a general thing. If you have a boost in 2v2 that is available for either player, let the player who's about to make a play on the ball take it. That's just a general thing. Here, Maestro actually had full boost. He probably could have left this. Just so happened that the stars didn't align, but the blue team and the ball did. That's not a good thing. So definitely another bit of an isolated challenge here. Jessie boost starved and has to defend against Fairy Peak 1v1. And Do new. Fairy Peak pretty good at volleys. Pretty good at volleys. Fairy Peak loves those side flip and pop shots. He's really good at those. But yeah, it's looking pretty desperate now. Another not great kickoff against the French 2v2 final boss, and the giveaway by Maestro. It's all falling to pieces now. And a bit of a panic by Jessie, but I mean, what else was he supposed to do there? Just trying to relieve some pressure. Give himself some time to stock up and boost again. There's a good demo, so now maybe a chance to take Fairy off the ball. But of course, we all know better than that. Fairy is going to be pretty difficult to dispossess. Actually serious about the Fairy Peak review. I wasn't when I said review incoming, but then the games were actually really good, so I thought, yeah, why not? Because I wanted to give Jessie some publicity. His stream is killing it recently. Jessie's stream is popping off. Only been streaming for like a month and a half. Look how many subs he's got. Absolutely killing it. I'm really happy for him. But yeah, the series, unfortunately, not going too well. You don't need to be a professional Rocket League analyst to identify what went wrong there. Maestro single jump on the kickoff. Didn't mean single jump there. Of course, he meant to front flip, but accidental input, and that's a 5-1. I don't think Jessie forfeited just yet, but you know the forfeit's probably not too far over the horizon. At this point, you just want to get into the next game. This one's just not worked out. Lots of mix-ups from Jessie and Maestro, but still, at times, good plays. If they were a little bit, I mean, you can see the advantage of playing as a pre-made team, as Fairy and Mout look a lot more cohesive defensively. They're not isolating each other by going for wild challenges quite as often as Jessie and Maestro are. Their kickoffs looking a lot more organized, and of course that's to be expected, as kickoffs are the only set piece in the game. I love that Jessie's going for the bump again, and it does work. 2 bump goals in one game. Just chases down Mout there, and a good long shot by Maestro, well placed in the bottom corner. Give Psyonix a shout out for not giving you a rematch. Did Mout and Fairy keep queuing, Jessie? They must have kept queuing, because I saw Fairy Peak Smurf did reach 2,000 rating. So, I mean, I wanted to do this review for 2 reasons. One, to give Jessie's stream another shout out, because you guys should all go watch his stream for the banter and the gameplay. But also, Fairy Peak, best player in the world. I want to have that discussion as well. Who else is in the conversation in you guys' opinion? I think Fairy Peak is just number 1 right now. He's just a beast. He's so difficult to get the ball past. Almost never takes himself out of the game. Rarely screws over his teammates, and you know he's all around just an absolute machine. So fast. Oh, Sasuke and Maestro might have duoed. Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, a bit of a shame. It would have been really cool. Hopefully, I mean, I don't think this will be the final episode of Jessie versus ranked 2v2. Looking for the rank 1. I mean, I certainly enjoyed watching the stream earlier. Look at that, 10 shots from Fairy. Bit of a carry there, but Mike did his part as well, carrying from the bottom, and Jessie carrying over here from the bottom. Of course, you don't get points for bumps, so in immediate requeue by Jessie. He was looking for the rematch. Didn't get it. That was all of the Jessie versus Fairy Peak that we were able to see. And either way, I think Jessie finished off. I think he finished off that stream. Let me check. 4th? I think 4th. Oh my goodness, it's so bright. Oh, it's still so bright. All right, there we go. All right, before I've been banned again. Nope. This is going to be my PC making a noise. Ignore that. Don't worry, your PC's fine. Why am I going to my garage? Right, here we go. Yeah, number 4. So Jessie did drop, I think, another 1 or 2 games after that. Well, I think you won a couple, lost a couple, but of course when you're going 50-50 at that rank, you're going to lose points. But Fairy Peak, rank 1 and 2, both accounts over 2,000 rating. I think the only accounts in the world that are over 2,000 rating at the moment, both held by the same player, who also happens to be crushing tournaments in pickup teams. You know, if we could really call Fairy K-Dop X a pickup team, because you know they've had a lot of practice playing together. But yeah, I hope that was a little bit more enjoyable for, what do you call it, YouTube, for YouTube. YouTuber, oh my goodness, complaining so much about me leaving on alerts this time. Thanks to all of you guys for not doing spam alerts, by the way. I appreciate that. Thanks for not doing spammy alerts. Do I have a shiny forehead today? I do have a shiny forehead. Somebody said that in chat. I was like, I'll look later. But yeah, thanks for not doing spammy alerts. You're now welcome to. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to skip any more alerts. That was just like for that portion of the stream I wanted to skip. Skip alerts. Yeah, Jesse's subbing for Mystic at DreamHack. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I wasn't even that like I was probably gonna watch like maybe the last day of DreamHack, but you know for sure now if Jesse's playing a game on stream, I'm watching that game.